the Washington Commanders held their first day of physical activity as far as training camp. Remember, players have been reporting over the last 2 days. And today we saw a team that has a Super Bowl look. We saw a football team that's loaded, that's larger, faster, more athletic. The players seem to be energized. And I think that this is a team that's going to be able to sustain the positive nature of everything they built from last season. Today, some of the newer players were really active, and you get a chance to see, a Dedrick Wise on the end. Von Miller looked every bit the part of a Hall of Famer. So you pair some of these guys up with the players that were returning from last year, and there's something brewing here. Clearly, the big story also is the fact that Terry McLaurin, pretty much the face of this franchise over the last 6 seasons, was not available today. But as I said yesterday, they are talking with his reps, and I do think something will be done. If not this week, sometime next week. I truly believe that. So there's going to be a lot more stuff that we're going to be covering, like young players, a guy like Jordan Magee, who last year at this time was really making a name for himself before he got injured. Well, this year he's back, obviously, and he feels much better. And I had a chance to talk to him and ask him, what's it like learning from veterans like Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu?
Blessing to be in the same room as them. Frankie All-Pro, Bobby 12-time All-Pro, first ballot Hall of Famer. Just to be in a room with those guys is a blessing. But they're both different in their own ways. For Frankie, he's a more up energy, pass rush guy. So with taking small skills from him, bringing it into my game, and taking small skills from Bobby and bringing it in my game. With Bobby, I kind of been under his wing for the past year, learning from him. We just worked out early in the morning. Just following him, seeing what he does, his routine, and try to mimic that. And try to bring that into my own thing. That's what I'm trying to do. Just take little things from those guys because they're both great players and they're future Hall of Famers. So, if I could do that, I have a good chance at being in that category. So, just go out there and just, do my thing.
All right, folks. As I promised, I'm going to bring in 2 of my really good friends that have covered this team for a long time. Donna Hopkins from Pro Football Plus. This is her 38th year covering this football team, so she's seen all the good with the bad, and hopefully it's all good now. And then we have my good friend, Mr. Felix Trammell from Fox Sports Radio.
It's year 10 for me.
All right, year 10 for him. It's
Yeah.
year 16 for me covering this team, my 20th covering the league. So we just dated ourselves on that.
We really did.
Hey, that's all right.
But it's all good. This is all wisdom right here, folks. So look, we're out here today. This looks like a much different football team than what we saw at this time last year. And I think it's safe to say that this is Adam Peters and Dan Quinn's football team, finally. As far as the size, as far as the speed, as far as the athleticism, we'll start with Donna. So what stood out to you today the most?
I paid attention to the defensive side of the ball a little bit more as far as the linebacker position. Like what I see there, they've got so much depth there, the best that I've seen in a long time. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Hamilton, Jordan McGee. When you look at that group, I really looked at the defensive line too, with the people they put in there through the draft and also
some free
agents.
Yeah.
I like what I see there. I think that they've got a good group up there that they can interchange. And I like I said, the defensive side of the ball, because when you look at all of them from the front end, as far as the linebackers, the safeties, and the back end.
The corners.
Yeah, the corners. You've got to like what you see from this group right now.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that defensive line. Felix and myself, we were over as well. And we saw, Dedrick Wise. We saw Javon Kinlaw. We saw the old man, Von Miller.
Yeah.
And he looked good.
Yeah, that's a good old. If that's old, that's a good old.
If he old, I want to be old.
Yes, absolutely.
And, you could tell, folks, he was on reserve today. Like, he still was sweating, but he looked good.
Yeah.
And he showed that, I don't want to say he's an upgrade because that's disrespecting another player who may be not here.
Right.
That looked like an upgrade to me. I'm sorry.
It did. And I think we mentioned it. It looks like the 49ers. How the 49ers used to look, that defensive line, and Donna already spoke to it, but I mean, they're big, they're violent, and it goes all the way through the defense. That's a bigger team. Like, Troy Amos, the safety, that corner is a big corner.
Yeah.
Like we always had the kind of diminutive kind of speed guys. Now we have power. And I think
guys will come
show
up and hit you.
They're going to hit you. And we saw those defensive line drills. They are pushing people back. Deron Payne looks small now.
He does.
He looks very small compared to the guys around him. So,
but he looks quick.
He does look quick, and
well, everyone looks in shape.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't care if it's like Tress Way looks in shape. I mean, you can tell that the nutritionist and the weight room, it's a real thing for this team now. And it goes back to what you were saying. You know, you built like the 49ers. Well, the 49ers was always a bully. They were always a team that was physical. And they don't have to look further in this team because right up the road in Philadelphia, they won the Super Bowl bullying people, bullied them in the NFC Championship game. I think that the moves that were made, everyone that they brought in, even the guys that they drafted for speed, size, athleticism, but more importantly, when we talked to Jordan McGee, he one of the first things he said is that Von Miller fits the description of this team because he's a hunter. Those were his exact words. He said he's a hunter, and this team, we're never going to be hunted. We are the hunters. I just love hearing that.
Yeah, Coach Witt is going to be able to do so much with this defense this year that he wasn't able to do last year. He talked about we're going to be balanced and everything, which to a certain degree they were. But when you don't have all the pieces to your defense yet, being in his first year, he's going to be able to move this team forward on defense a lot more. And the pressure is going to be key. The run defense was something that they didn't do well last year. I think they're going to be much better. But one other player that I really looked at is Will Harris. I watched him against the offensive side of the ball. And the way he was defending that ball, cutting off people, they couldn't even get open to get the ball. So adding him this year to that group is going to be a good addition to this team also.
You heard what I said a long time ago. I think he's an upgrade for Jeremy. And no offense to Jeremy. Jeremy had a really good year last year.
He really did.
Much so he got paid from the Raiders for it.
I'm not mad at him.
But Jeremy struggled in coverage.
Yeah, that was his weakness.
That's a strength of his at that safety spot. So I think a lot of people are going to really like Will Harris when he gets his chance. A guy that I wanted to talk to you about specifically, that we were walking around and we were seeing everyone, we saw a cut. One of the drills, and Corey Krosky-Merritt took one to the house. Before people say, well, that means the defense is terrible because they can't stop the run, which they couldn't do last year. Not necessarily. I think it's because they have a special back that I don't think he's going to, supplant Brian Robinson, at least not right away. I just don't see that happening. And Austin has his spot. But I do think that Ja'Cory and maybe a guy like Demetric Felton can really make some things interesting in that running back room.
Yeah, I've discussed this a lot because people are assuming that he's just going to take over for B-Rob. He's not going to take over for B-Rob. However, that's going to be a compliment there that can his versatility and then his home run speed. I think that's what was missing from that running back room. Yes. Even in Brian Robinson and Eckler, they would get through holes and then they would get caught. Yeah. It was never that home run hitter. And I think he can be the home run hitter in that backfield, which is just adds to the versatility of the offense because we didn't even mention Deebo Samuels. And the first play of 11-11, he caught a touchdown. So out of the slot. So
much thinner too.
In shape, Deebo Samuels. So you're talking about Deebo Samuels in the backfield. You got all these plethora running backs, and we haven't mentioned JD5 yet. And you're talking about that rushing ability. Cliff Kingsbury is probably licking his chops on what he's going to draw up with this offense, but Ja'Cory-Merritt's going to fit into that.
So today, Jayden Daniels only to me threw one bad pass. It wasn't intercepted. It just wasn't caught. But it was a throw that I think he was past the Senate.
Right.
And was a lot of traffic. Ben had his hands on the ball, just didn't bring it in. But if that's the worst thing you saw from Jayden all day, and when I tell you that was the worst thing that we saw was him have a incomplete pass that could have been caught. The guy looked phenomenal. And you can just see when you talk about the speed of the game, last year he was making plays and we saw how special he was.
Right.
But it was still a little skittish at times. Where you could just tell it was just his sheer athleticism being better than everyone. Out here now, this guy's brains beating people. I mean, he just looks phenomenal. What was your take on him?
Hey, let me just say this. He may have missed that one pass, but I saw him squeeze one into Austin Eckler in traffic.
Through three people.
So I'm looking like, man, he can only get better. And this is just day one. Right. So he's going to miss some things. That's just the way it is. But he's not going. Let me just tell you, the passes that he's squeezing in and the ones that he's connecting to some of his new receivers. We didn't even mention Lane, the other guy. But I want to go back
Yeah.
to the running back position. They've got 4. You mentioned all 4 of those guys backfield, that they add different pieces to this running game. And with an offensive line that's going to be better this year, I expect that running game to be better also. I expect Kingsbury to use the running game a little bit more this year than they did last year. And the key also for the running back is catching the ball out of the backfield. They talked to me about that's one thing that they're drilling in, is their capability of catching the ball out the backfield. And all of those guys can do just that.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting times. I mean, just the layout here, the way everything was structured, and kudos to the PR department as well. I mean, it's just like night and day here, folks. It truly is, and this is the look of a team that has real high aspirations. This isn't something where the 3 of us are gonna walk away and feed you something to make you feel good, like.
Because I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah, like maybe they can be good. No, we all agree. This is a Super Bowl caliber football team.
Yes.
And anything less of that, the guys on that field are going to be disappointed in that. So I'm really excited about what we saw there. Had to get on two of my folks, man. These guys are family to me, literally. So just wanted to bring them on, get their take on it. We're going to be doing this all throughout training camp. We have a lot more days. We'll be back tomorrow. You notice we didn't talk about Terry McLaurin, and no, we're not going to talk about that.
No
need
to.
talk about what we saw. And there's no need. He'll be here eventually. But for right now, we're talking about what we saw on the first day of training camp where physical activities took place. So appreciate these 2 for coming on with us, and I'm going to get you guys on again real soon.
Always great.
Always
Day 1 of training camp.
So as you can tell, a lot of excitement, Donna Hopkins from Pro Football Plus and Felix Trammell from, Fox Sports Radio, appreciate them for joining us. And we're going to have a lot of fun out here. Friday, it's supposed to be really hot too, folks. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow when we come back. We'll be here. We're going to see what this team does in day 2 of physical activities of training camp. But again, a lot to be excited about if you are a Washington Commanders fan. It's a lot for us to be excited about as media, and being NFL media, it's good to see an organization rebound the way this one has. So we're excited about it. So we're going to have a lot more information for you over the next couple of days. So out here in Ashburn at Commanders Park, I'm Lake Lewis.